Yeah, sorry, Nick. Been lying to you for a little while. I guess, when you get the wrong side of 30 and people like yourself talk about it whenever you have a slump in thought form, you start to think about it a lot more than you probably want to. And yeah, it's been a bit of a long time coming. Probably the back end of the 50 over World Cup started to think about what ending I might want. And yeah, obviously being left out of the kind of 50 over stuff earlier in the year was a bit of a blow. And I guess, yeah, it's the right time for me to move on and kind of see what's out there kind of away from international cricket.
You've given so much over such a long time across all formats in a million different roles. I don't know how hard it's been to actually do the sort of closing of the chapter, given you go back to 2009 and over 10 keeping wicket.
11, about 11. I think I've ticked them all off actually, 1 to 11 I think. If not, maybe I'll have to check and get that in the second innings or something. No, I'm kidding. I think it's been difficult. It's been probably accelerated the last week or so. Lots of conversations behind the scenes, lots of people that I had to tell. Had to tell them to take the day off on Monday to get here. It's been pretty mad. And then today, obviously told the girls just before, which is probably the hardest bit. Sorry. Telling the dressing room. Then it's kind of back to business, facing a red ball and getting annoyed that there are never enough net bowlers or never long enough to bat. So, once it was all kind of out there and out in the press and whatnot, it's just down to business and enjoy batting for as long as possible against the red ball.
So how excited are you for the ball days coming up?
Yeah, I always think people always ask me what's my favourite format, and I can never say Test cricket, even though I think it hands down would be if we had the opportunity to play enough. I think it feels like, what I've played nearly 17 years and I would have played, 12 tests with this one. I think hands down would have been my favourite, but you're kind of always feeling like you're playing catch up. 2 days training going into this one, it's sort of, you never quite feel ready, but I think it'd be an awesome experience to walk out at Lords and hear ticket sales are far more than the 5 people that came and watched my ODI debut in St Nevis. I think it'll just be an incredible opportunity for this England team to take it on and, test ourselves against a very good Indian team.
Can I just ask one more? Saw Mark Lane was out there with, I think, managing the Middlesex junior netball. He was obviously head coach here for your debut once upon a time. Have you had a chance to chat with him today? And I suppose was that quite an emotional sort of full circle for you both?
No, actually, I have a feeling he didn't know because the announcement was sort of as the net started, and he's a very professional person trying to get his lads and girls kind of in a row. But maybe if he's around again tomorrow, we'll get to have that conversation. But he actually came out to Pretoria with us over the winter, so it was kind of I actually had a few chats with him then when obviously Charlotte Edwards had been his captain back then, and then almost seeing her in charge and him being bossed around by her. I kind of asked him how he found that, and he said he was incredibly proud of everything she'd done. So, who knows what he'll say to me, but hopefully something nice.
First of all, congratulations on a fantastic England career. Can you just tell us a little bit more about the sort of the conversations that have fed into this decision today?
Not been too many really. Obviously, spoken to my husband, my family, all really supportive of kind of the next chapter. I guess it's been a couple of conversations with Lottie around kind of the future of this team and whatnot, and it just feels like the right time for me to make this decision for myself and for my kind of family as well.
And what's your favourite memory in an England shirt? I suspect it might be something like the huge poster of 2017 at the back of the room, but do you want to just tell us in your own words?
Yeah, I guess so many. I think one's probably last year, captaining the team at the Oval and that incredible comeback to win the game against India. I think I never thought I'd say my highlight was scoring 2 runs on a road at the Oval. But I think for me, kind of empowering the girls and seeing how amazing they responded to that and what this group's capable of. And the atmosphere, I think, is just why you play the game, and competing in that moment, I think, will be right up there. But obviously 2017 Definitely right up there. Maybe it's so long ago I can barely remember it. No, I'm joking.
What was the reaction of the rest of the team when you told them?
Amy Jones looked so shocked. I don't know if she's got over it yet, but no, she looked like she didn't know what was gone on. But yeah, the girls were all really supportive, lots of hugs. Not too many tears, which was good because I don't think I could have coped with that. But yeah, I called a couple of them this morning, spoke to Danny Wyatt. That was a lovely phone call. But yeah, they were all really supportive, all great, to be honest. So yeah.
Tammy, congratulations. In your retirement statement, you made a point of sort of drawing a line to the amateur era, and the fact that you're one of the last guard remaining who remembers how it used to be for the women's game. With that in mind, going out with a first test at Lords, I mean, how big a deal is that for you in the arc of your career, and what's to come for the rest of the arc?
Yeah, it's absolutely massive. I think for myself, we used to do like regional under-19 training, and our coach, if we dropped too many catches, sent us on laps of Lords as punishment. So yeah, as a 13-year-old to now be playing a test match here, I think it's an incredible kind of turnaround. And in my lifetime, women couldn't even go in the pavilion and couldn't be members of the MCC, and now it sounds like it's going to be absolutely packed. And I know the members that I know are all coming, so hopefully it'll be an incredible spectacle. And I think it's come such a long way. I mean, my debut 2009 in the West Indies, and pretty much the most people in the ground were the groundsmen, and we sang the national anthem to pretty much 5 or 6 parents. So to now kind of potentially be playing in front of 20,000 for a test match at Lords, I think is just how far the game's come, and quite a short space of time really, which is just incredible, and something hopefully we'll all be really proud of.
And obviously the girls, some of the girls had that experience in the World Cup final the other day, 28,000, but sadly not the favourite memory, I guess. How important is it, I suppose, for you girls who haven't been involved with that to sort of pick up the mood this week and just remind them that let's get back on, and it's a huge moment as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really proud of how the girls went in the T20 World Cup. I think they played brilliantly, but also put on a real show throughout the group games and the semi-final, and really brought cricket alive in this country. And yeah, I really feel for them actually. Like, some of them either haven't gone home or have had one night in their own bed, and then they're back here doing quite literally the opposite end of cricket that you can do, and going to have to settle in for long spells or get used to leaving the ball again. And they're turning up with a brilliant attitude, as they have done for the last 4 or 5 weeks. And the rest of us, I guess, I'm a bit of an old hat, but there's a couple with really fresh faces around the group. I've got to try and kind of moderate that and get involved, and try and gel together pretty quickly.
And just one for me, that I think Heather said before the World Cup that the moment we stop talking about how far the women's game has come, we'll be in a good place. I mean, this feels potentially like the last big first that the women have got to overcome to finally play a test at Lords. Do you feel that way? Do you feel like, having seen what happened in the World Cup, the women's game is in a really interestingly strong footing now?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's almost like the scenes we saw this summer, and hopefully this week, it's almost like they need to be the norm now. I guess for me, it's kind of trying to keep international cricket as competitive as possible. I think I love that Scotland and Ireland got their first World Cup wins and really pushed some good teams a long way. And I think the product needs to be good in terms of competitive cricket. And I've seen Hayley Matthews' quote about the funding of her country's game, and a few others, I guess, could kind of really do with that leg up to keep it as competitive as possible, because people come and watch cricket when it's good, regardless of gender. So we've got to keep it good, I guess.
Hi, Tammy. Anisha Ghosh from India, BBC TMS. With India, of course, you have this amazing relationship and some great career highs, including July 23rd, 2017. Of course, with the highest run getter, picked Mithali Raj by 1 run as staple, well, highest run getter in the 2017 World Cup. If you do go on to achieve a victory in this first ever women's test at Lords, how would that be for you personally?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've played 12 tests and actually only been involved in one victory. So odds might be against me, I guess, but I'm joking. But no, it'd be amazing. I think 4-day tests are particularly difficult to get 20 wickets, and I think for us it would be a massive moment. Obviously, knowing with the Ashes next year as well for the girls in terms of how to play Test cricket. But yeah, I think India have done really well against us in tests for the last 8 years or so. So for us, I think it's a massive moment to try and create our blueprint for that and try and get one over on India.
And if you were to zoom out a little bit and take a bird's eye view of your career, looking back, was it worth it for the former national schools gymnastics champion?
Well, I certainly was never going to make it in gymnastics. I was no Simone Biles. I think so. I think of some of the most surreal things that have ever happened to me. Like, I've met the Dalai Lama. I've met Prince William. Like so many things have happened. I would never have taken up golf, and I'm probably going to play a lot more golf now. I think some of the most surreal things have happened over my career, and that's all off-field stuff. And absolutely would never have happened as being a little kid from Sandwich down in Kent. I don't think any of it would happen, so it's definitely been worth it.
Final one. I remember speaking to you at the Levi Parkle Stadium when you toured a couple of years ago for the test, which was a return to Test cricket after God knows how many years. If you were to send out a message as to why there should be more women's tests, including featuring India, what would that message be to the powers that be?
I think for me, it's still the best format. That's the one. It's called a test for a reason, and that is the one where you really test your skills out properly, like your mental resolve, your physical resolve, your technique. That's where you do really get tested, and I think that's kind of the making of a lot of players. And I think in the men's game, you'll still have people be called great on their test records and not their T20 records. And I think for me, the women's game's kind of lagged behind in that. And I think as players, most of us still really want to play Test cricket, but not in a kind of tokenist way. We want to play it in a way that we can really sink our teeth into it and try and master it. I think that's starting to come in, T20 formats. We're trying to master how we play, and we're all kind of elite sports people at the end of the day. We want to be really good at things, so kind of doing one test every 2 years kind of puts a halt to that. For us, I think the more the better in a way.
Question here, and then finish with You're one of the most experienced players around in women's cricket. So, looking back, which are the biggest changes that you've noticed in the evolution of women's cricket over the last so many years?
Oh, so many. I think the increase in the talent pool coming through. I think so many teams now. It used to be you'd sort of pick someone, they'd probably be a squad player for a couple of years to try and train them up, get them to speed. Whereas now I think even in this country, there's probably a pool of 50 players you could call up tomorrow and get them to play for England, and they'd perform on the world stage. And I think that's a massive thing going forward, that you're going to need more and more players with how busy the scheduling is and all of those things. So for me, I think it's kind of the talent and the skill of the players that come in, and the game's just kind of gone from strength to strength.
Going to finish with Nick.
So just how proud of how adaptable you've had to be over, like we touched on Benny when you started and all that stuff, but to remain ahead of the curve and to push yourself so far above others, I suppose, and players who've only known professional era and players who've only had the advantages of kind of the foundations that you guys helped lay, I suppose. Like to be finishing here with the 12 major hundreds and all the rest of it. And, how proud of you, I suppose, like what you made yourself?
I think my dad, in his speech at our wedding, used the word resilient in inverted commas, meaning stubborn, at least 10 times. Hens nodding at the back. I think for me as a kid, I was always kind of, if you told me no, I'd go, well, I'll show you. And I think for me, that was probably the moment I knew that I was ready to retire was when I got dropped this time. It was like, okay, cool. Instead of I'll show you kind of thing. So yeah, for me, I think that's kind of that mindset I've always had of, right, well, what do I need to do? What do I need to get better at? And right, let's go do it and kind of take that action on and go. And yeah, I've always loved proving people wrong.